Thank you that you're still here, supporting the heat. The content is urgent. We want to talk about value chains. Yes, and that's what you left us with, right? So we're going to take right off there, and we're going to talk about where and how technology can transform the value chain or change it, of course, in order to achieve more sustainable processes in fashion industries. And of course, we want to know how and where your startups aims to impact. And let's just, I think I'm going to present you right away because we don't have so much time left. So we have Ludovico from STAIY. That's you. I will give you the word soon. Don't just wait a second. We have Anita. That's you from Trim. We have Benjamin from NOVOCARBO. We have Ettore. And we have Anna. You're quite often on stage, Anna. Yeah, I don't know, but so really, just give us, before we can extend a little bit, give me a brief idea. What is STAIY?
Yes.
From where do you operate? Since when? And where do you intervene in the value chain? Just kind of like a word, a tendency, not an essay.
Yes,
yes, a microphone.
Yeah,
Okay. Then I'm back.
Okay, so hi everyone, Ludovico. STAIY is a marketplace for sustainable fashion. We founded in Berlin 4 years ago, 2019. And we're operating, bridging the gap between the consumers and the producers. So what we do is providing a platform where brands can showcase their products after a sustainability evaluation and make it easy and seamless for the user to find and embark on a sustainable journey and embrace the sustainable lifestyle by finding the right pieces and in the whole diversity of styles. So this is, I guess...
And did you say since when you are operating?
Yes, since 2019, so
okay.
4 years ago, and based here in Berlin.
No, what are you? This is a nice story. How old are you?
24, turning 25, and when we met with Stefano 4 years ago, I mean, and I'm the oldest of the founders. Then, of course, in the team there's more senior people, but yeah, we were pretty young. Couldn't find a solution, so we decided to make it, and here we are.
Great. So then, Anita, what is Trim? From where, since when, and where do you intervene in the value chain?
We originally started as STAIY in 2017. We're based in Berlin. We rebranded recently to Trim as we saw a change in what we were doing. We started with predictive sizing and customized products for fashion, and realized that there was a massive need for facilitating customer on-demand products through to manufacturing. So we changed gears, rebranded to refocus on the additional value that we can add there. Yeah.
And you're based?
We're based in Berlin.
Berlin as well. Okay. So next one, NOVOCARBO, Benjamin.
Yes.
From where, since when, and what's with the value chain? Where are you?
So starting off Hamburg, so not Berlin, Hamburg. Started off 2017 as a one-man show, more or less. Not me though. I joined 1.5 years ago. And what we're doing is basically we're transforming industries, going beyond. There we go again. Beyond cycle or upcycling, beyond process optimization towards real active greenhouse gas removal. So for us, it has been mentioned, it's not enough to just eat half of the cake. It's not enough to just eat like 1/10 of the cake. We're eating too much cake, right? We need to actively pull out CO2 from the air and methane as well. And we have different approaches to that.
Thank you. So then, Anna, we already know, but maybe you can tell us something new, from where, since when, and in a few words. What's the value chain and you?
Yeah, I wouldn't tell what we do. I mean, everybody knows. We founded 2020. We are based in Berlin, and
why I brought us all here. It's because I want to show a digital value chain is possible, sustainable value chain, and that's why we are sitting here. And that, I mean, you know what we are doing, right?
Okay, so then there's Ettore left from REVIBE.
Yes.
So what's going on? From where, since when, and the value chain?
So we are not from Germany and not from Berlin, we are from Paris, France. We are the first marketplace fully dedicated to upcycling fashion. So basically we help creative designers to scale their business, reworking second-hand clothes, dead stock, leftovers. We have them in many ways, in distribution, obviously, online, offline, but also in really the materials procurement and finding partner to work with. And that's it.
Thank you. So, still confusing, right? I mean, a lot of interesting projects, but what's what with this value chain? So, I want you now to decide, are you in the beginning, in the middle, or in the end of a traditional value chain? What can you tell me about this? What do you think, Benjamin? End. Okay. End. Okay. You can write it yourself, right? And you pick it, right? Try and give it to the next person. Okay, Anita.
Yeah,
it can be more words, you know. Sometimes people are all over the place, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're reinventing the value chain a little bit. It's not, you know, make the product then sell it. We're selling the product and then making it, or at least that's what we're facilitating. But I guess mostly in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, just try. We can. I think it's an interesting point to discuss that at least.
Yeah. I think there's some others that touch on.
Yeah. Let's see.
So I think, well, we do what designers normally do manually, we do digitally, and we are in the beginning.
Okay. Right now, beginning. Or begin. We don't have maybe time for long words.
No,
we'll see. Okay.
Well,
yeah. The whole thing, yes.
too much stuff.
So I would say that we are at the end, but then we will talk about it, I think.
Yeah.
Same here, I would say end.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see if this gives us a clearer picture. Basically, this. Yeah. So let's say we start with the beginning, right? Beginning. Hello, beginning. So what do you replace in a traditional value chain? I'm full aware that we're talking about things should be cyclic, but you just make some visualization who's sitting here. We're kind of like talking about this traditional linear needs to cycle, but you're going to expand on that. So tell us, how do you replace what in the value chain and with what kind of technology?
Yeah, we are analyzing fashion data, bringing out new products digitally, and then you click, you get 3D designing, and then we developed an augmented reality, and you can see the whole product in an augmented reality. That means a designer would go online, would do research, we do that automatically, we would analyze our data, I don't know, in Excel files, we do that automatically. Product creation, we do in our heads, I think. We do it analyzed objectively, also digital, and then prototyping, I mean, we would do, and it's also done digitally.
And now, one question I missed out. Why is this necessary?
Oh, that would be a long answer.
Try to make it short.
Okay, first of all, I think we should create or design more specific and should calculate better what we design to sell, better to have less overstock. The second thing, prototyping. Why do we have that? And the next thing is communication in between everybody, augmented reality. I mean, you can talk to the production company, to the CEO, merchandiser, and the designer can also have a look. And yeah, we're cutting down this value chain, which normally it takes so much time. Designers get burned out. I don't know. I could keep going. Sustainability and so on.
Okay. Thank you. We're continuing to the middle. Hello.
Hi.
Anita, trim. So what do you replace in the value chain and with what kind of technology? And you know it's coming up with this, why it's necessary.
Yeah. We have the front end side of things, which is a bit of a co-designed aspect with the customer, where this size prediction. So this isn't closest size. We actually create individual measurements through data-driven predictions through a questionnaire, for instance. And that is sort of the first part, customizations as well of the product, so a very similar part to YOONA. And then what we're developing more into is the manufacturing integration. So we can translate that information, those predictions, into auto pattern technology that automates so that we're operating at the same level as at mass production, potential mass production volumes and speed that the customer expects, but we're only producing what the customer wants, not these massive amounts of excess, and we're not, traditional value chain is either producing too much, and then what do you do with that extra, or we're not producing enough and there are lost sales. So if you're matching production directly to the demand of the consumer, you're ensuring that they get exactly what they want, it's customized to them, and you're not making extras that people don't need. So also coming back to why, definitely reducing overproduction, stockouts, where part of the necessity of communicating with the production is we're tapping into traceability and following those orders through the entire value chain. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other things that we touch on. Sorry? Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Reducing return rates is a massive thing for us. We actually don't have returns at this point with our, I think there's like 5 out of thousands, and that's mostly based on corona-related hiccups. But our remake rate is 5%. From, I think, industry standard is somewhere between 30 to 50%.
In Germany, it's 70 for.
Yeah.
So it's massive.
Yeah, 70% for like size-related
for Germany,
issues. Yeah. So it's
Thank you.
useful.
Thank you. So we have now 3 candidates for end. What is the close to middle end? What do you think? You're all end, or is there somebody? Yeah.
I would take it then.
Yeah. Thank you, Ettore, for saving me here. Thank you very much.
But since we are a marketplace, we are a connector, a facilitator. So on one side, as I said, we have these emerging designers, and we have them in the whole value chain. That's why I would say I could be in the middle, because it's creative people, and what they need actually is a structure to scale. So we have them in the materials procurement, so in the first part of the value chain, and then in the distribution, as I was saying. On the other side, what we do is the post-sales service for brands. So basically, brands that have returns, they have dead stocks, they have any kind of garments they don't sell. They are able through us to get a network of designers that can rework these kind of materials and create new collection and put them in the market. So I would say, being a facilitator, we always connect this different part of the market, but that's the cool part as well, to being able to touch different stakeholders in the value chain. Yeah.
Thank you. I already think it's very interesting that, one design kind of task with YOONA that maybe goes away, that maybe designers don't do anymore, and then a new task rising. So I think from a designer's perspective. So definitely end. So Ludovico, would you do me the favor?
I mean, same for us. We're a marketplace, so we're a point of contact between the brands and the consumer. So I guess it's changing consumer behavior, or at least giving a chance to find the sustainable pieces that you want in a easy user journey, just like normal shopping behavior. So providing that alternative, but on the other end, it's the fact of evaluating the brands and getting data points on what they do, their practices, that then helps us to hopefully in the long run have this effect, backwards effect in supporting the producers that are the sustainable producers, but also influencing the big players into saying, okay, what is going on in this ecosystem? Now we have over 200 brands, so over 10,000 data points at least. So there's a lot of material to work on. So I would say, yeah, these are mainly the 2 points.
Yeah.
Similar to the upcycling marketplace, because it's really this that we're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was amazing when I was at your both websites or apps, and the variety and the amount of brands is just shocking. If you never have been there, it's really like, what is out there?
Yeah.
So, the end. Benjamin. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I try to understand what you're doing. There were some terminologies, but I think it was not so easy.
We'll get into the struggle later on, right? But so why the end? And we're not that fashion focused as you are. We're multi-industry focused, and I'm cheating a bit. I'm helping with some material that I'll give around. This is, for example, granulates made from sneakers. They're basically not really, let's say, recyclable, upcyclable. So what do you do with it? You burn it. So basically this will become CO2, and we know what happens to oceans, we know what happens to temperatures. And so the question is, what can you do with this? And it's too heterogeneous, there's too much difference in this to reuse it. And also the layers of the sneaker, it's glued and all that stuff. So we basically turn it into this. It's black, it has basically just carbon and ash. And if we now put this somewhere in the material, in the ground, this is not in the ground, but other stuff we do put in the ground, we actively take out the CO2 from this process. So we're looking not for being competitive with recyclable products, we're looking for streams that are absolutely just going into burning, creating CO2. And not only in the fashion industry, but in any industry. But the fashion industry, as we heard, is contributing a lot. So this is where we see us. And I'll give it a round so you can...
No?
And you can smell the sneakers actually if you pull down. They're not old sneakers, so it smells pretty fresh. Just so you know.
One guinea pig for...
I remember my chemistry teacher telling me to smell something, and then it was not possible to smell. So, then, you know, just we went from beginning to end, but we go back to the end because you spoke last, so you can continue to speak. What are your thoughts on a holistic value chain? You talked about that as well. We need vision for that. We need kind of like ideas, and I think since you're working actively on it, what can you say about this vision when that arises?
So basically any industry that just has the target 0 is, in my opinion, absolutely faulty, because if you think about it, just being at 0 doesn't change anything where we are right now. We are already in a sinking ship and breathing with like a quarter of a lung. So it needs to be negative. We need to take out CO2. We need to take back what we have done since industrialization, pushing it out into the air. We need to somehow get it back out of the air and somehow get tilted. You know? We're not tilting just by reducing and not by being in a 0. We need to really tilt it. And this is where we see where the change needs to happen.
Okay. Ludovico.
Tough one, for sure. I think it's mainly the large brands, the major brands getting together with policymakers and maybe having an understanding of their collective impact. So these 80 billion garments, I'm sure there should be some regulation to say the amount of people and this is the amount of garments each needs more or less, and kind of have some formulas there to support that. But then it goes back to larger brands implementing innovation, implementing and scaling actually the production methods for the new textiles, from apple skin to, I mean, we have so many different milk fiber, but all these textiles are very costly because only the innovators are investing into them, and so that's also what creates some of the barriers that we have. So I guess it has to be a vertical movement, policymakers, large brands, innovators, and society at large. I mean, here in Berlin we see it, it's thriving, but elsewhere nobody knows fashion is the second largest polluter. Like if I ask my peers, no one knows. And that's actually the reason why I started. So I guess it's also a lot of awareness.
Ettore? A vision?
Yeah, I don't want to repeat things that we already said. Just taking this example, we put a lot of pressure correctly to fashion brands on being like to reduce their carbon footprint. But then the fashion brand can go to the supplier and say, okay, now you have to decrease 30% your footprint. Then the supplier doesn't know how to do it. Maybe it's in Bangladesh. They don't have the funds, the expertise. So just to say that the solution, as we said, and we are here for that, it's really communication. Having like a full value chain connected, working together. I think it's the solution. And to push it further, I would say that if we bring the consumer inside the value chain in a way, I think we can be all more aware of what we are doing. For example, personalization or pushing them to be the collector of the clothes that we use. That's my vision.
Thank you. Anita.
Yeah. So many good points already.
Yeah, I like them too, yeah.
I mean, speaking for us, we know that our impact can't be on all things, right? So our focus is primarily on facilitating for brands, traditional fashion brands, and working directly with the production. I should also mention I'm not the CEO, I'm pattern and production manager, so that's primarily where I'm working with, in Bangladesh with suppliers in different countries that are not used to working in these new ways and helping them. We do offer consulting and what have you to show how to change the way that they produce and maintain profitability. It doesn't have to be at a loss. It just has to be about a change of thinking, a change of approach. It also has to be a partnership between the manufacturers and the brands as well to work together in collaboration in order to be able to move forward. I think that topic obviously came up in the last panel, to make sure that we're working together, because every part of the value chain and all of the players in that value chain, wherever they're coming into it, we all play our individual part. It's too complex for it to be a one-size-fits-all approach. Yeah.
Yeah, I think very interesting too. I really like the point to how you, at least to me, it spoke to, because of this kind of like being focused on the part, like knowing that you're part of kind of like a movement or a group of action, whatever, how we name it, but that you stay focused and serious on what you're doing and that you're doing your best in this little moment that you can act. I think this was very inspiring as well in connecting not only the bigger visions, but like really a very small point.
Yeah.
Anna.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting here, that's my vision.
Yeah,
that you're all
you're so
together.
sweet.
So, because I see it the same, I mean, we are focusing on one thing, we cannot develop everything. So we have to find the right puzzle which fits to the holistic value chain, and also know that and offering to the industry all together. I mean, Stefan is working on that, we are working on that. Maybe our platform is even only platform bringing everybody together. So, but we can only develop a little and a small thing, and everybody else is bringing something in for the holistic value chain.
Nice. After this shocking presentation, I think there's some hope coming up. But we all know it's not so easy to go there. So I want you to share a little bit. I mean, okay, time is expanding. We're already, everybody want to go home, but can we learn something from all of you? So my last question is, where do you struggle? Maybe even at the moment. That would be interesting, not only the ones that are behind us, maybe even things that are in the moment struggling in what you're aiming to do. What do you think? Anita, is there something?
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of stakeholders, and operating across the whole value chain, you have you know, maybe a CEO that's super excited, but then, you know, somebody on the production room floor that's like, no, this is never, the engineers are like, nope, not happening, to like put my engineer hat on and say, right? I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, this, you know, that's not even like a one-off, that's like pretty much every example, basically. The numbers speak for themselves, you know, the people who make the decisions are like, yes, and the people who make it happen are like, nope. Yeah. But, you know, we're people, it's about relationship building, it's about, you know, finding the opportunities, and I think like he was saying, it's, you know, show where you're at, and like what works, what doesn't work. It builds trust, it builds integrity, and having that sort of back and forth sharing with whoever you're working with, trusting both sides, and guiding them through the process. Yeah.
Any other struggles coming to somebody's mind? Ettore? Have you ever struggled or still struggling?
Well, always me helping you. No, in our case, I mean, all the points I already said are correct. In our case, we turn what is called waste into something with more value. So I would say that for us, we are a super early stage startup. The main difficulty is to make consumers understand they should, even if our price is higher, way higher than like a price that you can get in fast fashion, for example, they should decide and go for this kind of quality. So garments made by artisans, even if with already existing materials. So I think that to push them to choose quality over quantity, as always we say, and to maybe empower the small creator also, and not only the big fashion brand that we all know. So I would say that like really making the consumer market understanding what we do, why we are doing it, and why they should choose us instead of like traditional way of selling fashion.
Thank you for sharing. Ludovico.
Yeah, maybe I can add on to that, and I think it's a common problem is looking forward, scaling up the businesses, is being able to have dialogue with the large brands, making sure, because they are the ones who move fashion, right? Who move the big markets, and they also have the huge impact that we want to tackle. But making sure that the dialogue is smooth and doesn't harm neither of the two, because it can harm the brand by being attacked constantly by public opinion and so on. And on the other side, it can harm marketplaces like us that need larger brands to sort of to scale up, to reach to the wider public. But making sure that if we collaborate, it is something that goes and remains intrinsically true to the whole values that we stand for. So I think this is a challenge for sustainability in general, in the long run. When it will scale, then where will sustainability be? So I think this is more conceptual.
Yeah, but I think totally valid. I think it's an interesting discourse, and I think this is my suggestion. We maybe need more internal discourse as well, also, right? Yes. Yeah.
I was just thinking, wanted to talk later to Stefano, we should think about a channel like Slack, or I don't know, where we all come together and we talk internally and all have like our own group, everybody.
Yeah.
And getting more in,
Yeah, more honest discourse is something I support a lot. Like in confidence sometimes too. Yeah, no, it's true. Like, yeah, and
I want to touch on two struggles. Let's say the cocoon struggle. Like we've heard it earlier. The scope, right? You start off running out there saying we're looking for waste. If you start looking, you start finding, and there's waste at every corner, and you cannot tackle all of it. So you need to think about: are we doing a service? Are we doing consultancy? Are we doing it ourselves? Are we helping others doing it? So that phase is done. Now the current struggle is wheels of bureaucracy. So basically, we start building sites. We are building them, well, pretty big. We want to remove carbon, and then you see how hard it is. Well, we started off in Germany. How hard it is really to just get it going. Yeah. There's just so much to consider. You think you're good, then there's another clash from the side. You need to hand in another phone bill, another one tiny bit changes. It changes all the documentation. You need to redo everything, and that's something that you just see for being, let's say, agile and driving innovation. There's just so much frustration, right?
Overcoming frustrations. So.
Getting
Yeah.
out of the right?
Yeah. So I guess I haven't looked to you because I
want to keep talking.
I'm not seeing it. So, but I think, I don't know, I think we don't have time for audience questions, or do we want to take the time? Yeah, because if somebody, there's the question. Oh, I work normally.
Just presenting him. Who is it?
I like your point because it's the same. I'm Danny, by the way, co-founder of YOONA. we have the same problem. It's like, yes, the CEOs, you can convince them, they all want to change, but then you talk to the team and you have a simple issue, right? But my question is actually, we are always facing one thing. We come to them, hey, we automate your process, we help you with digitalization. Aren't you supporting fast fashion? And when I see your stuff, the first thing that comes into my mind is, don't you support the brands to do the wrong thing? Because they feel, oh, we can recycle it now. So it's all good. We don't have to care anymore. Do you face something like that?
No, not necessarily. Like I said, fashion is just one possibility. Does it promote that you should make waste? Right, is the question at the end. But where we see ourselves is there is not a solution for it. We are the solution for everything where there is no solution. So basically, currently, fashion industry burns that stuff, creating CO2. So we go in there and say, we're going to take it, going to put it into carbon, and going to use it. But I mean, if there would be a use, and if somebody finds a use, we're backing off. Because we basically don't see value in destroying something that has value, other than thermically burning it and creating energy, right? So yes, there could be that argument, but the other argument is it's waste. And instead of burning it, try converting it into material. More or less, it's a recycling idea, the upcycling idea. Return it into material that you can use, and not just blow into the air and keep on destroying our Earth.
Thank you. Two questions. I would maybe...
Can I add something? Sorry.
Add, okay.
Yeah. Regarding the oh no, you work with fast fashion. I think there's a lot of sort of extremism about sustainability, right? Where it's a very polarized, it's all or nothing. If you are not 100% all in sustainable, you can't talk about sustainability or be sustainable or whatever. We all have an opportunity and a responsibility to do something. I think, again, call back to the last presentation, we all have an opportunity to make a change. We should be supporting the big companies, the fast fashion companies, to do better. We can't let them get away with saying we're 100% perfect now in greenwashing, but there's still an opportunity to have an impact, I think.
Yeah, and I think we need this discourse coming from those projects.
Critical
evaluate.
Discourse,
the critical discourse.
Yeah, sure.
You're doing something, people see it, and when they think they can do it better, as long as it helps the environment, So I think it's very interesting that this is kind of like an inner design thing. This is where I think the designers are good for that, because you do something, it's out for critique. This is what you do. You not do the perfect product. So I totally agree. Thank you.
Thanks.
And so please.
So I guess we talked a lot about like environmental sustainability, but I'd love to hear, I guess, a little bit about like social sustainability and how I think you touched on, you go to Bangladesh and these factories, and obviously we know the exploitation that happens in these factories and how this is kind of changing and how what startups are doing or what, disrupting the value chain, how that changes the social implications for a lot of these, women, mostly 80% of my workers are women. And, you just touched on those fast fashion brands as well. Obviously there's progress and that doesn't mean that they have to be perfect. But I guess when the root cause of it is exploitation, not only to the base, but also the people and the people behind garments, how does that kind of interplay?
I mean, okay, I will say we don't necessarily have a direct impact on it, but I do think that there is some side benefits to having something. An on-demand product is something that requires a little bit more attention. And with that extra attention usually comes with more training, and with more training comes better pay. There's also a little bit of there can be a premium charge for it, especially when you talk about all of the reductions of remakes and cost and stuff like that. Then when you're looking at aspects of traceability, which is not unique to us, but when you are more connected with the manufacturer, you're more involved with the manufacturer either as an additional party, an intermediary, or as the brand itself, being more connected with their manufacturer. That connection, that more closeness to the supplier means that it's harder to push things out. It's harder to separate and subcontract and subcontract. You know, there is a little bit more connection. And I think lastly, I would say that I truly think on-demand should be, for new products, should be the way that we produce. If you don't need to produce massive volumes up front and you're getting, and waiting, I think now the payment schedule is a year to a year and a half in the future. So they're making 100,000, a million units and not getting paid for 18 months, you're probably not going to be so great to your workers. If you're getting paid on a month-by-month basis, essentially, right? It's already sold, the money's there. It's just a matter of putting in your invoice, essentially, and getting paid back. There's less of that risk, essentially, and managerial risk protection for their stakeholders and not the people working on the floor. But that's the impact I can speak on, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be super challenging for sure, because the suppliers are a secret for the large brands, right? So
less so.
I mean, there's not much collaboration in sharing. Oh yeah, that's my provider. These are my costs, and so on. So I guess it's going to be hard again in this phase of transition, how social rights will be respected, especially in countries that leverage on and are dependent on the economy. The whole economy is an exporting economy. So also the controls, for sure, are not there by the state entity. So I guess this is a little bit the trick that we still have and that has to be faced. And at one point, it's great that you're doing it.
Yeah, we need to stop.
Get a lot of signs.
Yeah, we get a lot of signs, yeah. But I still think that you gave us a sign as well. I think there's something to rethink, and I think there's a lot of space to maybe inject those ideas and maybe start up with something to help us to criticize and to get forward. Thank you. Thank the panelists, the audience, and Universe for providing. Thank you very much.